So I also listened to, I found a live train version from 1965. There's a video on YouTube, and it just says Naima John Coltrane 1965, and it's a video. I think it's that same. I've seen this concert before where they're like, I don't know if they're outside or something, but there's like steam coming off of them. And it's such a crazy vibe because Elvin is just like sweating, but there's actual steam coming off him. So maybe it was cold outside. I don't know if they're playing outside or what, but it's McCoy Tyner, Jimmy Garrison, the classic quartet, and it's interesting to hear McCoy play more lines on this, and then Train comes in with the real. It's 1965, so there's a lot of saxophonic stuff and few stuff on it. But I was thinking about that too because I was going to talk about what I play when I play a couple choruses on it in a minute, and how McCoy does not play the exact sort of chord scale ideas that I'm about to talk about, but he kind of plays some of them. He plays McCoy-isms as well, and I think that it doesn't necessarily negate what I'm about to say, but maybe there are other approaches, and maybe the idea of that band is kind of wild in a good way, obviously, right? Very passionate, one of the great groups in the history of jazz. And so they stretch it, right? Everything's stretched and kind of, I don't want to say abstract, but just not so, play this here. But then again, when you're trying to learn the song and get the sound in your head, it'd be good to have some chord scale ideas. So that's my disclaimer about my jazz education background. So I'm going to go into it. So another thing that's interesting about that live version is when they get to the second half of the A section, it's not over an E flat pedal. They just play an A major 7, G major 7, A flat. Jimmy Garrison plays A, G, A flat, which actually changes, to me, changes what the sound would be. So that's part of it too. But so if we go through E flat sus, it's like an E flat dominant chord. So, E flat mixolydian, A flat major scale, then to an E flat minor, so E flat Dorian, D flat major scale, like E flat Dorian. Then this sound, it's like I think of it as like a B7, like I know there's E flat down in the bass, but yeah, E flat G sharp, yeah, it's over the third. So to me, it's kind of just I don't really put a sharp 11 in it. I know some of the charts will say sharp 11. I think the iReal says B7 sharp 11, but to me it's just B mixolydian. And I guess the fact that it's over an E flat, so what mode is that? I confuse myself because I'm thinking of it as a B7, so I guess it's the fifth mode, right? So it's an E major scale over E flat. So I guess it's E flat Locrian. It's an E major scale sound. And then the A major 7 over E flat, scratch that, because this is a G major 7 over E flat. If it were just a G major 7 without the E flat in the bass, it could be just like G Lydian. But because there's an E flat in the bass, because there's no E flat in the G Lydian scale, so I'm thinking, at least for the basis of what I do, I'm thinking E flat super Locrian, E melodic minor. So if you just say the major scales, you got kind of A flat major scale, D flat major scale, E major scale, E melodic minor scale, A flat major scale, or you can make an A flat Lydian. So that's the A section to me, as at least the starting point. So I'm thinking like a B7, third of the bass, and then an E flat dominant 7, flat 13 sharp 9, then to an A flat major 7. Forgive me for my jazz school transgressions, y'all. Anyway, so then the bridge, B flat Phrygian. It's hard for me to sometimes pull the name out of my head because I'm thinking like it's a B major 7 for improvising purposes. I think B major 7 sharp 11 over B flat with major 7 in the bass, which technically makes it Phrygian. And then B flat half whole diminished. And over that I'll play different kind of patterns and things that I like. There's that one. Coltrane plays that one a lot. And I also like to think, play off the triad. So like this is a lick I play sometimes, like a B flat triad. Sometimes I'll go to like the sharp 9, then down to the G triad. Right, because the half whole diminished, B flat half whole diminished has got a G triad, major triad, G major triad, B flat major triad, D flat major triad, and E major triad. And if you mix those together with their in different inversions, it can sound kind of cool. The half whole diminished scale, if you just play it as sort of like a scale linearly, it doesn't really sound right to me. It's kind of got to be a little bit more what do you call it, the contour. You have to kind of jump around a little bit to me to make it sound right. There's a lick I play. Sometimes I go, how do I go? I forget what the pattern is. I do something like that. I did that on one of these Sunnyside records. I remember I worked out the lick and I was like, I'm going to play this lick here, which is cool. I don't think that's cheating. So yeah, it does that twice. B flat Locrian to B flat 13, flat 9 half whole diminished. And then you have that sound. So then it becomes like, again, B flat super Locrian. Please forgive me for using these jazz scale names, but you could play, you don't, like I said, when I say that, I guess what I mean is you don't have to play that 7-note scale, but there's a difference between that sound and that sound that is pretty important to me. It's the difference. I talk about this in Personalizing Jazz Vocabulary, the difference between that 13, natural 13 with the flat 9 and the sharp 9 and a flat 13. That to me is a very different sound. So it's B flat 7, flat 13, sharp 9, B melodic minor. Then you go back to the B flat Phrygian. And sometimes I think about that as like a B flat 7 alter resolving to like an E flat minor over B flat. Just so I have kind of a way of resolving it a little bit. And both times too, this could be the B flat 13, flat 9 going back to the B flat. Am I saying the right thing? I hope so. B flat 13, flat 9 to B flat Phrygian. Sometimes I think of the B flat Phrygian as like an E flat minor sound over B flat. That way it can be like a 5-1, and I can do my 5-1 resolution stuff. So that happens twice. Then you got this chord. Back to the B flat Phrygian, and then B flat sus. Dominant 7, so like a B flat Mixolydian, which is the E flat major scale, right? And then the last chord, I gotta play later today. Then the E major 7 sharp 11 over B flat, whatever you call that scale. So yeah, it's actually B flat Locrian, but I think of it as an E flat major 7 sharp 11 over B flat. Same thing. Then back to the A section. So the chord scale vibe, just to get you started, so you can noodle around in the right key areas, right? For the bridge, B flat Phrygian, which is G flat major, to B flat 13, flat 9, B flat half whole diminished. Do that again. Play altered, aka B flat superlocrian, back to B flat Phrygian, aka G flat major, to B flat 13 sus, aka E flat major, to an E major 7 over E major 7 sharp 11 over B flat, aka the B major scale, or B flat Locrian. I think I said all those right. I hope I did. It's a lot of, my fingers know where to go and know what to play. And then when I try to name the things from the root versus naming the scale versus all the stuff I play on. And that's how I think of that song, y'all. Again, like I said, if you go listen to McCoy Tyner playing all his stuff on there, he's not, he didn't go to jazz school when he was growing up. But I do think there's some value in breaking it down in a way that maybe some of us can approach it who just, they look at the song with all the pedals and all the chord symbols. I think there's some value in at least initially thinking about it in the jazz school chord scale frame. So Wes, thank you for suggesting this tune. I'm glad I got to finally do it, and I'm going to play a couple choruses on it. And I feel like I was channeling McCoy a little bit, because that was the last thing I heard before I recorded. So I'm kind of playing a lot of stuff. And on this, I'm not taking the Wynton Kelly approach. But I hope you enjoy it. Naima, one of the classic jazz recordings, I think, from the Giant Steps record. All right, enjoy.